The late 1960s ushered in a golden age for aviation. Passenger demand was soaring, and airlines sought aircraft that could meet the needs of the modern traveler. Wide-body jets were the answer, offering increased capacity, efficiency, and comfort. Boeing's iconic 747, introduced in 1970, led this revolution with its massive double-deck design. However, not all airlines needed or wanted a plane of that size. American Airlines envisioned a smaller, more versatile wide-body jet that could operate efficiently on shorter routes while still offering the comfort of the larger jets. Then came McDonnell Douglas, a company ready to meet that demand with its DC-10. With 3 powerful engines, 2 under the wings and 1 mounted on the tail, the DC-10 struck a balance between performance and practicality. Its spacious cabin, larger windows, and more affordable operating costs made it an appealing choice for airlines worldwide. The DC-10 took to the skies in 1970 and entered service with American Airlines in 1971. It was an instant hit, offering passengers luxury, comfort, and quiet cabins. Airlines like United and Continental joined the DC-10 revolution, eager to tap into the booming market for wide-body jets. But McDonnell Douglas wasn't the only player. Lockheed's L-1011 TriStar was hot on its heels, also targeting the lucrative trijet market. While the L-1011 boasted advanced technology and innovations including a more sophisticated autopilot system, delays and higher production costs gave McDonnell Douglas an edge. The DC-10 arrived first, secured key contracts, and quickly outsold its rival. By the mid-1970s, the DC-10 seemed destined for success. However, cracks, literal and figurative, soon began to appear. The first major blow to the DC-10's reputation came in 1974 when a Turkish Airlines DC-10 crashed near Paris, killing 346 people. The cause? A cargo door that failed mid-flight, leading to catastrophic depressurization and loss of control. Shockingly, this wasn't an isolated incident. 2 years earlier, a similar issue had occurred during a test flight, but McDonnell Douglas had chosen a less rigorous fix, issuing a service bulletin instead of implementing mandatory design changes. The Paris crash was one of the deadliest aviation disasters of the time and marked the beginning of the DC-10's tarnished reputation. Public confidence wavered, and airlines grew concerned about the aircraft's safety. In 1979, the DC-10 faced its darkest hour. An American Airlines DC-10 crashed during takeoff in Chicago, killing 273 people. Investigators found that improper maintenance, not a design flaw, had caused the crash. However, the FAA took the unprecedented step of grounding the DC-10 fleet worldwide. For weeks, these trijets sat idle on tarmacs as public scrutiny reached a fever pitch. The grounding was a logistical nightmare for airlines and a PR disaster for McDonnell Douglas. Though the DC-10 was eventually cleared to fly again, its reputation had suffered irreversible damage. Despite these setbacks, the plane continued to serve airlines around the world. Over the years, the DC-10 evolved to meet the changing needs of the aviation industry. The initial version, the DC-10-10, was designed for domestic flights within the United States, with a maximum takeoff weight of 400,000 pounds and a range of just over 3,800 miles. Subsequent versions, such as the DC-1030, were developed for international flights, featuring more powerful engines, increased range, and additional landing gear to support the heavier aircraft. The DC-1030, in particular, became a popular choice for airlines like Swissair and KLM, which valued its ability to operate on long-haul routes. McDonnell Douglas also offered a version with Pratt & Whitney JT9D engines, allowing airlines to standardize their fleets with similar power plants used in other aircraft like the Boeing 747. One of the major customers of the McDonnell Douglas was the U.S. Air Force. The KC-10 extender, a military variant of the DC-10, became an essential part of the U.S. Air Force's refueling fleet. This aircraft was designed to support long-distance operations by providing aerial refueling capabilities, extending the range and endurance of other aircraft. A total of 60 KC-10 extenders were delivered, most of which are still in operation today. This military application demonstrated the versatility and robustness of the DC-10 design, further cementing its legacy in aviation history. To truly appreciate the DC-10's impact on aviation, it's essential to understand its design and specifications. The DC-10 was a wide-body airliner with 3 turbofan engines, 2 mounted under the wings and 1 at the base of the vertical tail. This tri-jet configuration was chosen to balance power and efficiency while maintaining the aircraft's operational range and capacity. The plane's cockpit was designed for 3 crew members, 2 pilots and a flight engineer. This setup was typical for wide-body aircraft of that era and provided redundancy and support for managing the aircraft's complex systems. The onboard avionics were advanced for their time, featuring systems that later influenced the design of the MD-11. One of the DC-10 standout features was its spacious cabin, which had a width of 218 inches. This allowed for various seating configurations, with a maximum certified capacity of 380 passengers. However, in practice, the aircraft was typically configured to carry around 285 passengers in a 2-class layout, balancing comfort with capacity. In the early days of wide-body airliners, one of the significant limitations was the ETOPS, Extended Range Twin-Engine Operational Performance Standards Regulation. ETOPS restricted the operation of twin-engine aircraft over long oceanic routes, requiring them to remain within a certain distance of an alternate airport in case of an engine failure. This regulation posed a challenge for the development of more efficient twin-engine widebodies, like the Airbus A300. However, the DC-10, with its 3-engine configuration, was not subject to the same restrictions, making it an attractive option for airlines operating long-haul routes. Over time, advancements in engine reliability and technology led to changes in the ETOPS regulations, allowing twin-engine aircraft to operate on longer routes. This shift paved the way for more efficient twin-engine widebodies to dominate the market, but during its heyday, the DC-10's tri-jet design provided a valuable advantage. In the late 1980s, McDonnell Douglas attempted to revive its fortunes with the MD-11. Launched in 1990, the MD-11 was essentially a modernized DC-10, featuring a longer fuselage, higher capacity, and advanced avionics. Its most notable improvement was a 2-person glass cockpit, eliminating the need for a flight engineer and reducing operational costs. The MD-11 also introduced winglets, which improved fuel efficiency and gave the aircraft a distinctive appearance. With a range of over 6,700 nautical miles, it was marketed as a long-haul solution for airlines. However, the MD-11 faced significant challenges. Despite promising specifications, the aircraft struggled to meet performance targets, particularly in range and fuel burn. Airlines like American and Singapore Airlines expressed frustration, canceling orders and opting for more efficient twin-engine models like the Boeing 777. The MD-11's commercial failure marked the beginning of the end for McDonnell Douglas. By the mid-1990s, the company was struggling financially and losing market share to competitors. In 1997, Boeing acquired McDonnell Douglas, effectively ending the tri-jet era. While the MD-11's passenger operations dwindled, the aircraft found a second life as a cargo carrier. Logistics giants like FedEx and UPS embraced the MD-11 for its. Today, both the DC-10 and MD-11 are largely retired from passenger service, with most remaining aircraft converted for cargo use. The DC-10's early tragedies left an indelible mark on public perception, but its later years proved it could be a reliable and durable aircraft. Similarly, while the MD-11 fell short of commercial expectations, it demonstrated the adaptability and resilience of tri-jet designs. Together, these aircraft symbolize both the risks and rewards of aviation innovation. They pushed boundaries, challenged conventions, and left a legacy that continues to fascinate aviation enthusiasts. Despite its troubled early years, the DC-10 would go on to prove itself as a reliable and durable aircraft. Over time, McDonnell Douglas worked to address safety concerns, improving the design and ensuring stricter maintenance protocols. By the 1980s, the DC-10 had carved out a niche as a workhorse for airlines and cargo carriers alike. Notably, the KC-10 Extender, a military tanker variant, demonstrated the DC-10's versatility and robustness. These aircraft played a vital role in refueling operations for the U.S. Air Force, further cementing the DC-10's legacy. By the late 1980s, however, the market had shifted. Airlines were gravitating toward more efficient twin-engine jets like the Boeing 767 and Airbus A300, which offered similar capabilities without the complexity and cost of a third engine. Production of the DC-10 ceased in 1988, with the final delivery going to Nigeria Airways. Although the aircraft's commercial heyday had passed, its impact on the aviation industry was undeniable. The DC-10 helped pave the way for modern air travel, making long-distance flights more accessible and affordable for millions of passengers. What are your thoughts on the DC-10 and MD-11? Have you flown on one of these iconic aircraft, or do you have memories of their heyday? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more aviation videos. Until next time, safe travels.